Uzi, yes! Finally a day that the Australian fans can cheer about in these Ashes. Finally some good news. That has turned around my summer. Pez, it's you again. Welcome back to The Great Cricket, obviously brought to you by ACO, India's leading digital insurance company. Well, that's a celebration. You're having a sip of red wine there because you're celebrating Usman Khawaja's return century.
Oh, it's the only way you'd want me to celebrate, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, mate, what about the moment of his 100? I'm not saying it was Thorpe and Hall. I'm not saying it was like fucking Ariane Titmus shit, but it was still spine tingling, and it was his wife, and it was his child, and you know, chopping onions. Nah, fuck it, I was crying on the replay. Actually, at the time we were doing Patreon, talking about fucking God knows what. But Nate, roar of the SCG crowd. It was really good gear, and it's a great 100. I think it's a hard wicket, and man, there's two ways I'd like to talk about this. One is to just enjoy the 100 for what it is. You know, Khawaja at his languid best, class personified, and to just appreciate it in and of itself, right? It's an Usman Khawaja 100. We've had 9 of them, and they're always great to watch. And it's great to watch his celebration. Great to see the LeBron silencer. He was so happy at home. The romance, the whole thing. There's that, and then there's then there's. but what about the 100s we could have had? Why did it come? How did it come to this? What does this mean for the future? Who's the villain? Who can I antagonize for not having this more often? So, yeah. Just for the day, because I know we're just going to rip into this, but I think it's a test match. Australia's playing England, just for those who are tuning in just now, and he's played what is, an innings that'll guarantee Australia doesn't lose at the very, very least, if not win. The 100s have been really hard to come by this series. There's only been one other one, and he batted really well. You know, all of the talk is going to be about what this means for the environment that he's been in, the selectors, etc. But just today, he batted exceptionally well, apart from being dropped once.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Pez. It wasn't chanceless, so you have to factor that in. Sure, it was a very good innings on a wicket that has been up and down, lots of sideways movement, Broad gets 5, etc. But he did give a life to the opposition, so can we sort of, what does that mean for the Asian tours where you've got to be more ruthless than that? And also, this affords us the opportunity to just tell some stories about when we played against Usman, so that actually means that it's actually our 100 in lots of ways, and a lot of people haven't been talking about that, but that's how I felt when I was watching him. So I was just so proud of him, just sort of knowing what he's been through in his story, and mate. I don't know which way to take it. I mean, when he came to the crease last night, mate, I think I said this yesterday's show. He faced 4 balls, and I was like, "You're one of the best players we've got." Just and he hasn't batted in a game in 2 months, because he's been in the squad. He hasn't played Big Bash. He hasn't. I think he got 200s in the Shield beginning part of this year, to get himself back into the squad after a bit of a time away. But he hasn't batted in a game. He comes into a test match on a wicket that is clearly 400 seems like a lot. 416 seems like a lot to me. I'm going to pinch a good point that on Patreon Mick pointed this out, but it's very unusual in Australian summer that you come into the 4th test of a summer and there's only been now 200s. Is that right, Mick? I think that's right. Very few bulk runs. Obviously, it's mainly because one team can't bat at all, but these wickets have been spicy. I think it is fair to say that Australia have identified England's weakness being one skill of the sport and thought, we're just going to make these a little bit spicy because we're going to outbat you. We're going to score more runs than you.
We did hit. There was 3 90s in Adelaide, and so I'm just mathematically making 90 into 100, but the point still stands.
That's right. Anyway, mate, I just I said this last night. It's just that there are some lost years with Khawaja, and maybe that's not. I think that's not exclusively the selector's fault. He just stopped scoring runs. Like that is what happens. But 40, 50 tests, whatever, averaging 40. It's not like we've missed runs for a while, especially when Smith and Warner were out for a period of time. Comes in, he looks good, and I feel like at best there's probably 2 years left, but maybe you just got to enjoy it. I think you sort of enjoy today. Today was a happy day for Australian cricket and for him and his family, so that makes me feel good.
Yeah, it made me feel good, and then it also made me feel a little bit angry because, to your point, there's only one other ton this series, and then he comes in and immediately tons up. That's just pure demonstration of class, and anyone with half a trained eye watching the TV could see his class. It felt like slipping an old glove back on. I mean, do I wear gloves a lot? No, but and have I ever worn gloves long enough for one to be rendered old that I slip on? No,
yeah.
But I've been told that that's how that feels.
If the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
He's always been in the top 4 long form bats in the country, and you're only going to be able to speculate about what's happened in between 2019 during the Ashes and now. Look, we were there at the Ashes in 2019, and I do distinctly remember thinking, look, he's very close to missing out on the side, and he can struggle away from home. I wonder if in time, mate, this unhelpful wondering, there was a real misalignment between the kind of environment that Justin Langer had, was creating in his head and then manifesting, and then who Usman Khawaja is, which resulted in flashpoints between them. And by that, we just mean Khawaja, an adult man, calmly telling Justin Langer just to maybe take it easy, brother. And then
call your jets.
Call your jets a little bit, and then he was out. And he was the first guy discarded at the Ashes when everyone else was struggling to score runs except for Steve Smith. And then I think the bigger question is, yes, Joe Burns was too big to fail last summer, but he couldn't score a run. And where was Khawaja then? We have he's class. I still maintain everything I said about Marcus Harris. I think I say that in relation to just being an opening bat who gets the most out of oneself, and I think that Harris is doing that. But with respect to Harris, the golfing class between both of those players is palpable. And how do we arrive in a scenario where Usman Khawaja can't get a game? Because it's not as though Australia are just piling on the runs wherever they go. We had Ricky Ponting sit in the room with us and say he's just quite simply he's just in the top bats in the country. Just find a spot for him. And what do they do now? You can't let an asset like Khawaja just sit on the fucking pine after 137. Can you?
Yep.
And if they do,
well,
he's going to be fucking Marco van Basten come the Royal Pindi test. If they don't pick him, it's like, mate, we got this platinum level bat just sitting there. Anyway, I don't know. It's probably a little bit more complicated than that, but yeah. One more thing I want to say is I just wonder with Khawaja whether there was a period for the last couple of years where he was a bit over cricket as well, and he might have given off those vibes. And I also wonder whether the environment's changing in the Australian cricket side. It is calmer, and Pete Lawler, the great defender of Justin Langer, says he's dead man walking. I just wonder whether there might be a bit of an Indian summer for Khawaja in a calmer environment that allows him to flourish and be himself. Maybe something to look forward to.
Yeah, I think I think what Asia will bring up is Warner and Khawaja opening the batting, and I think they'll play head. I can't see Harris opening the batting in Asia, but I mean that's no slight on Harris either. I'm just saying Khawaja is in your best 11. And maybe it hasn't always been. Guys are out of form, but like he's just better. He's just better than what is available.
It's so funny though, mate, because he's like, the average is 24 overseas, and when they go to Asia, and let's not all lump it into the complete same basket. Wickets in Pakistan are different to wickets in India and Sri Lanka, and Khawaja is actually quite sluggish to spin, to be honest. But
especially off spin, yeah.
But your point still remains. He's still among the best. So I don't know. Anyway, horses for courses, horses. He's a great horse at the SCG. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. All right. Give me the second thing.
Yeah, great.
Not that it matters.
No. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Broad. Look, Stuart Broad took 5. Nathan Lyon fucking zacked him to take it to 100. So 5 for 101, which kind of, the 3 figures at the end. Ain't great on the old optics, but and then Broad did say it wasn't the nicest having Nathan Lyon pump me into the stand. The first 5 for ball I've ever had to have sanitised. So that's pretty funny. To be fair to him,
you got to pay that. You got to pay that.
Mate, the knees don't pump as high as they used to, but Lion-hearted competitor. He's at you. If they had more bowlers like him, they'd be better. But by the same token, there's a little bit of like, well, I should have played him in the other test. Yeah, maybe, but I'm not fucking sitting around there going like, if only they hadn't sidelined Broad. Very different story this series. No, still getting pumped, but hey, good to see Broad take wickets, I guess.
Mate, that's exactly my rate as well. I thought he bowled really well with the second new ball today, especially when they changed it 3 times.
They found the right one.
But exactly. He's now got Warner 13 times in Tests. He's now got Smith. I think it was 9 times in Tests. That to me just says that Australia and England play each other heaps.
Yeah,
exactly. and they've been going around for ages. It's like when your mate at your club gets 5,000 runs. Doesn't mean he's good. It means he's been at the club for too long.
Average of 11.43.
5,000 runs. What a player. Some of those were in 3rd grade too, mostly in 4s. So, I mean, look, he has got a good record against Australia's 2 best batters. Look, he probably should have played. In my opinion, he should have played at the Gabba. The series score is exactly the same. He's a good bowler, but they're pushing shit uphill. But that doesn't change the fact that he bowled really nicely with the new ball today. And I don't know what else to make of it.
He's always. I like Broad, mate. Like Broad is a classic. He's like he carries on, but he's a fast bowler. He's breathing fire. He's snarling through his nose. He's staring at you. He's just fierce. It's good. They still pump him occasionally. I mean, look. I think he's got an unbelievable record, mate. I mean, look at a day like today. It's a test match at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and the 2 standout performers are 35 years old. That's interesting to me. Like, you don't sort of see that very often. I really like Broad being part of the contest, especially when Australia's winning. But you got to give him you got to give him his dues, and he's and then over in England when we have to go over there, he's near on unplayable. So apart from Steve, Smith,
I think that I don't know if I've ever seen a better like hot hand bowler, and I include Anderson there. I think Anderson is the most skilled seamer I've ever seen in my lifetime, which isn't necessarily a great shout. I mean, he'd be in the fucking top 3 of anyone, but for Anderson is the best, most skilled. But Broad, when he gets the hot hand, I mean, it is unbelievable. Like especially in England. I mean, it's obviously best conditions, but just what he did to Warner, he's done that against Australia in England in various different grounds, like 6 times.
Mate, he's done it his whole career. He goes. I actually can't now that I think about it. Apart from Smith in 2019, I can't remember anybody mastering him. Every time he bowls in England, he basically cuts us up. So. Yeah, fair play to him for coming out here and being able to play a little bit as well. Yeah, still hit 400, but it's all good.
I don't rate it, but yeah.
Does this it's still a bit like it's still a bit of a beat up kind of feel to that, like to today. You know, we're still toying with him a little bit. We got fucking Milan bowling, fucking Nathan Lyon, as I said before, like declaration time stuff. You know, when the guys got the whites on, like there's still a lot of that vibe to it. It's a dead rubber, and we're all celebrating Usman Khawaja. Like, so we're being magnanimous to Stuart Broad and. Like, again, fucking good bowler, but sleepy New Year's vibe to this game. Australia declare and have, a nasty couple of minutes in England and, don't manage to get through. So just before we get there, he goes, so Stokes is injured and Stokes is injured bowling that fucking pump tactic at the hip again. To try and hold Australia back or some shit heading into the new ball. It's weird English park the bus shit. That too cute by half. Ashley Giles. I'm just saying keywords now. I'm not saying that's why I got injured necessarily, but you're banging the ball into the deck time after time after time. On it's a weird never in wicket, but it's not fast. It's a slow wicket. What I don't know. And then you see him go off grim. Sorry, mate.
I think that. Stokes' performance in these Ashes are like there's like 78 things which are higher up on the agenda for the ECB to sort out. But he's taken 4 wickets in 4 tests and he's hit 101 runs.
Yeah, he's cool.
And he's bowled so many no balls. He doesn't look in the fucking shape of his life to me.
Well, mate, he came off a fucking 4-month mental health break or whatever it was. Like he's just in no state. I mean, they've brought him in because he's an absolute talisman, and he always will be. He just wasn't good to go, man. He's come out to play in the desert. Everyone's fucked, and he's fallen over. Anyway, So I reckon he should be captain.
That's right, mate. Yeah. Give him the
Jack Leach, no good again. Good to see him get into his spell. Always going to defend the Brotherhood of Spin. More to say on Jack Leach later, I think. But no good. So finally, he goes, England survives. You'd think that Australia would have taken a wicket. Stark no ball by millimetres. I noticed Cum Dog took the first ball. Don't know the last time that happened. Just muscling in there a little bit as well. First pill, Starkey. I'll have this. Thanks, home ground. I liked it.
Presume it was an ends thing.
Whatever. I want it to be a fucking. I want it. Well, start of the series, his first change, and now he's taking the first pill. I fucking want it. I want it big time.
Yeah.
Nathan Lyon saying some stuff to Zach Crawley with a little bit of a country squint as well. They caught on Fox, and a couple of balls taken off now. A couple of balls really rearing up off that service. Markwood got one to roll as well. 400 feels like overs to me. And also Haseeb Hameed swapped back sponsors.
Yeah. That's weird mid-series. DSC is, I mean, it's obviously Khawaja's sticking. He's had that for a while, but to go from Grey Nicks to DSC, interesting. Must have been bulk cash. Make of that what you will.
All right, AskTGC, thanks to Acco, our dearest friends. Matthew Bolch writes in. Long-time supporter, Matthew Bolch, you'd have to say.
Bolchy!
Yeah, go, Bolchy. Hashtag AskTGC, feeding into Pez's demand for cricketers' apparel and body language to look just so at all times and at all costs, da-da-da-da. I actually don't appreciate the da-da-da-da, like you're sort of wanting to distance yourself from it, but also writing it at the same time. Anyway, Bolchy, I know you'll come back with fucking 15 paragraphs. What is the correct angle a batsman should hold their bat whilst departing the field of play upon dismissal? Personally, I'm a classic 15-degree angle from vertical with gloves dangling, and therefore cannot get around Pete Hanscom's 90-degree horizontal tuck. Thoughts? Many thoughts on that. First, I'd like you to be clearer, Matthew, about what you mean about the gloves dangling. Where are the gloves being held? Is it in the same hand as the bat? I just think that you could have, for someone who is quite literary, you could have put more in there. Pete Hanscom, 90-degree horizontal tuck. That's actually quite old school, so I'm fine with that. What I have a problem with is the holding of the blade itself, the wood, upon dismissal. It seems to sort of signify and sign sign petulance in some way. I just don't want anyone's hands on the wood itself. You hold the bat grip only, and you can't really go too wrong when you're holding the bat grip in and of itself. I used to put my gloves in my helmet. I've taken my helmet off. I'd sort of had a whole routine going on there, so I could hold my helmet in my left hand, gloves in there, bat in my right, sort of get a bit of air into the old hair. So just start that process. So yeah.
Start that process. Fucking air purifier. Sort of get that air process going. Yeah,
they were good memories, mate. They were good times.
Get it through the feathers.
Could feel could feel some fucking feathers on my head back then.
Summer of '69. Those were the best days of my life, just playing in the background. Yeah. Mate, I tell you, mate, this is a whole different conversation about celebrations of 50s and 100s. What I didn't like was when Flintoff used to bring in, he used to hold he used to hold the woodworm blade when he was sponsored by Woodworm, and the lid like there. No, like good. It was, yuck for me. Yeah, yuck. No, good. But, again, bulk cash. So, that's what I'd do if I scored, 35 in twos once. Twos, okay, interesting. Hey, thanks for supporting 2GC. Hey, big day tomorrow, big day tonight. The day 4 in South Africa, India. Hashtag AskTGC's Fridays has been recorded. That's for Patreon. That comes out at midnight tonight. So much happening at TGC. Thanks for supporting us ever. See you guys next time. Cheers.